So the first area we're going to start with is our glutes. We're going to kind of lean onto the side with one knee up. And again, we're just going to spend 5 to 10 rolls working around our hips and our glutes, trying to find any sore spots. Even if we're not sore in that area, we want to continue to work through that. Again, we think of this as maintenance and kind of the first step in our program. So 5 on that side, we'll switch it over, 5 on this. Next area of concern for us is hamstrings. So we usually do one at a time. So we're going to start way up high, up near your butt. And we want to rotate that leg in and out a little bit to be able to get the different areas or the different specific muscles that make up your hamstrings. 5 or 10 on that side, 5 or 10 on this side. A lot of times if you kind of get towards the inside and way up high, that's an area that goaltenders in general, players alike, take a lot of stress just from the skating stride, and for us from butterfly and reverse VH positions. So a lot of times there's a lot of tension and quite a lot of buildup of knots and adhesions. Once we're done there, we're going to move to our upper back. So we want to start kind of mid-back, basically underneath the bottom of your rib cage. If you're kind of touching yourself in front, we're going to bring our elbows in nice and tight so we get our shoulder blades out of the way. And we just want to work ourselves up towards the bottom or base of our neck and back down. Again, 5 to 10 rolls. We can get on the side a little bit. There's no rocket science to it, but we're just trying to, again, create quality and less dense tissue overall. Flip around now. We're going to do hip flexors. So we'll go again one at a time. We want to find our hip bone in the front and think about 6 inches down. We'll do one side, then the other. And again, this is an area that for goaltenders is going to be jammed up quite a bit with all the internal and external rotation we put our hips through. So you're going to find rolling along the side, and right along the bottom of that hip bone, you're going to find different spots where that's going to create some soreness and some tension, and somewhere that we want to try to address on a daily basis. Same thing other side. And then we're just going to roll it down a little bit on the knees and do the quads. So we can usually do both at the same time. Basically just working from knees up to about where you were for hip flexors. And then the very last one we're going to do is for our adductors, our groins. We're going to put the roller to our side, bring our knee up to 90 degrees, start at the knee and basically work our way up kind of north and then back down. And you'll find, again, different areas that, depending on the day, maybe a little more sore, a little less sore, but we want to consistently address soft tissue quality. So we're improving our ability to move, and more importantly, most importantly, reducing the incidence of injury. All right, so once we've gone through our soft tissue quality for the foam roller, we only spend, as you can see, 3 or 4 minutes total, but on a consistent basis. We want to make sure we're addressing that every single day and not having to spend an hour and a half with a massage therapist once or twice a week to try to fix problems that we could have just taken care of ahead of time. So from that point, we're going to go into the next step of our goaltender prep program. We always address soft tissue quality first, and then soft tissue length next. And that's basically our active isolated stretching routine. So the first stretch we're going to do, one leg out, kind of kick save position. And for all of our stretches, we basically want to have some movement into the stretch and then back out. Into the stretch a little more and back out. We're just trying to lengthen this tissue here. Now, we're not spending a tremendous amount of time trying to increase range of motion. We're trying to prepare to get on the ice. We're not necessarily trying to, create the ability to go into the splits if we don't already have that. So we don't take a lot of time here. Again, about 5 reps into the stretch, relax back out. Every time I go in, I should be able to get a little bit deeper into that position. Same thing other side. Sit back and stretch, come back up. We want to try to keep a nice flat back so all the motion is just coming through the hip and growing, and I'm not bending over and compensating my upper back. Sit back and stretch a little deeper every time, just preparing the tissue to get on the ice and compete. Now we're going to cross over in kind of a pigeon position. Again, same idea. Hip down and back to stretch, back up to relax. Down and back up to relax. So again, step 1. In our goaltender prep program is always soft tissue quality. We want to improve the quality of our muscle tissue before step 2, which we then go into trying to create some length. Hip flexors are next. We like to put our foot up on the roller. The knee that's down, I'm going to reach with that side and try to put my palm to the ceiling. At the same time, I'm going to squeeze my glutes. So reach and squeeze, relax. Reach and squeeze, relax. I'm trying to be long from here all the way down to my kneecap. We want to avoid arching back too far. A lot of times when that happens, we do feel like we're getting a stretch, but we're not really stretching the right muscles. So instead of arching back, it's reach and squeeze your glutes. Reach and squeeze your glutes. All right, and then the last stretch that we're going to go through as this kind of step 2 of our warm-up. Split position hamstrings, get as long as we can. And now we're just trying to have some slide with the hips left to right. So again, really simple what it looks like against the wall. Front leg is all I'm worried about. I'm going to try to touch my knee to the wall 3 times over that little toe. 3 times straight ahead. And if I can touch the wall, I'm just going to scoot my foot back about a ½ inch. So I have sort of a guidepost. I'm aiming for that wall, but I can't quite reach it. I want to increase that over time. And then 3 over that big toe. So inside, outside, up the middle. 3 little, 3 in the middle, 3 over the big toe. The second exercise we're going to do is kind of borrowed from the FRC playbook. Actually, it's going to be the all 4 position, pails and rails. So I'm basically in this position as wide as I can get with my knee. Hands in front of me, and it's really, really simple. You're not going to see a lot of motion here, but all I'm going to do once I'm kind of stretched out and at end range, I'm going to squeeze both knees into the ground as forcefully as I can. So I'm going to pull in for about 3 seconds, in, relax. Now I'm going to try to pull my knees out for about 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, you're not seeing a lot of motion. What I'm doing now, pulling back in, create tension, 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 relax, pull out, tension, tension, tension. And what I'm actually getting done is, if this is the joint, this is my leg, this is my hip, I'm getting to that end range and then creating tension at that spot. I'm getting to that end range and then creating tension at that spot. So I'm working on that mobility for my hip, but I'm also working on strength and stability once I'm out where I can get to. The next one we're going to do is the split position pails and rails. So again, similar concept to what I just did. In this case, I'm going to use 2 kettlebells or something heavy, kind of relatively immovable. If you don't have this, you could be in a door frame, you could be up against kind of the bleachers, anything that allows you to create tension in without your legs actually moving. And then I want to do the same thing coming out. So again, I'm going to get myself close to end range, as far kind of as stretched out as I can get. And I want to create tension in. So I'm going to pull in on these kettlebells. Tension, tension, tension. Relax. I'm going to pull out. Out, out, out. Good. And I should get a little more range every time I do it. A little more flexibility there. That's if you're familiar with PNF stretching, there's a similar concept going on that allows you to kind of gradually gain some range of motion. So that's really beneficial. So again, in, and now out, 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 out. Good. And once I've gotten some good range there and I'm starting to get comfortable with that and strong in those positions, we'll add some kind of upper body reaches. So I've got to create that tension in, but also have some motion for my upper body. Because again, I'm going to get into those awkward positions, and it's that strength through that limb and through that hip joint when I'm out here that I'm going to need to help keep myself healthy. Okay. And then the last exercise